Dear Clash Guards, I confess my emotions have been a mess. Cause you changed everything we ever knew. From witches to poison and the Queen walked too. Whoa, I've been wrong, I was wrong. Been a town hall night, way too long. Getting hogs and Valkyries. I'll push that button and believe in you again.
Welcome to episode 93 of Pineapples and Thorns. I'm Kat, and I do have a special guest here with me today, but first I'm going to jump into some CFF news. There's lots happening in the CFF as we head into September. ACE has put together a challenging Town Hall 16 event called Heaven and Earth. Team Ground is going to face off against Team Air on September 28th with a twist. Both teams are restricted to using only original equipment and only the first 4 original pets. Plus, if you are Team Air, your offensive and defensive CC must all be air troops, and if you are Team Ground, your CC must be all ground troops, of course. So if you're interested in that, just sign up in the CFF server. As well as Sky and Barkey have their annual Draft War tournament. Sign up again in the CFF server. C-Note will be hosting a live draft on October 5th. The draft wars are open to Town Hall 9 to 16, and the deadline to sign up is October 1st. And hopefully I don't butcher this clan name. Sadudular smashed out win 600 with the help of friends and family in the CFF. Final score was 150 to 133. Great work, everybody. So today I'm pleased to welcome a very special guest to the show. He's the co-host of the Reddit Talks Clash podcast, Reddit moderator extraordinaire, and a good friend to the CFF and podcasters everywhere, Congressman Cool Rick. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. This is so surreal too. This happened a few times, but I just realized I'm so used to hearing you speak at 1.5 speed. And just going through this, I'm like, why is she talking slow? And then I just realized, no, that's a me problem.
Oh, it's nice to know that I sound like Donald Duck or something. I'm talking. So, Rick, give us a brief Clash history. What accounts you currently play, what clans, how you started playing, and why actually do you continue to play the game?
That's a great question right now. But I began in 2013, 2014-ish, around when that year switched over. Just had the one account for a while. Started playing just some friends. Were talking about it during a fantasy football draft, and then they were still talking about it at the Super Bowl later that year. So I figured it was, probably a good enough game to pick up, and 11 years later, here I am. But eventually, I made a second account. I wanted to have a totally defenseless engineered one, and after that, too, I wanted to make a wall-less account.
Oh,
and then, I always wanted something different, and eventually that grew into wanting like a base at every town hall level. So I'm not there. The game kind of got away from me. I don't currently have a town hall 15, and I'm not looking to change that. It's too much now. But I have a bunch of 6s for clan capital, a couple 2s I never touch, and then essentially 5 through 16 won at every level minus 15. Yeah, it's the game that has surprisingly held my interest this long too. Like I've played the heck out of a lot of games, but Clash is probably where I put the most hours into.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem, you mentioned like you have a lot of accounts that kind of just sit there and you log in occasionally. I know I have a number of accounts that I feel bad because I've neglected them, and then I used to enjoy playing them a lot, and I just find with everything going on in the game, I don't have a lot of time to devote to them anymore.
Yeah, I have Trample and I will do like a side war in the bad guys with a lot of our minis, so that keeps me interested in those levels too. But lately, I don't know, I'm just not as interested in farming though, so it feels like I'm getting behind on ore and equipment. And I don't, like, even though like I always did fine with the default equipment on those. Now it's I don't know, it's something weird psychologically I got to get over, but it feels like I'm not complete on those, and
Hmm.
that just makes it less interesting for me to play, even though I was constantly warring on all of them always. But it's so quick enough too. Like you don't have to plan a Town Hall 9 attack. You just log in, do a go ho, triple everything, and get out. So like a war of 10 accounts, with as long as they're the lower town halls, it takes half an hour. I'll do that every
Right.
other day, but I don't know. It's getting less. Lower accounts are less interesting to me now that equipment is so powerful. So I don't know how long term I'm gonna maintain that, but
Hmm.
for now we're still doing it.
So, looking back at all of the town hall levels you've played, which town hall was or is your favorite and why?
I'm always gonna have that like peak nostalgia for Town Hall 9 for back in the day. I don't like anyone who played then. It's wild to me if you said anything other than Town Hall 9
Hmm.
when you know the 2014 2015 when Town Hall 9 was really like at its peak. I think it was amazingly balanced. It had a good variety of attacks, even though it's still all mostly go ho. But I don't know. It's just that was always like the peak flash to me. So it's always gonna be Town Hall 9.
Yeah. Well, and there were so many different versions of hog attacks back then.
Yeah, the
Stoned go ho,
CB
cold
stoned.
blooded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really fun time to be playing the game for sure. So, you currently hang your hat in the Good Guys clan with our good friend Trample. I know you guys have done some esports stuff. Are you continuing on the more competitive track with the esports?
No. I've always just done like someone will be throwing together a team or trying to do something, and then they call out like, hey, we need bodies, and I'll always just say like, I'm around, and I'm
Hmm.
not terrible. I'm not terrible at the game, so if you need a guy, I'm there. And then so I've ended up playing with a lot of people who want to do tournaments and stuff, but it's never been like a big interest of mine personally.
Yeah. So, speaking of esports, you're heading to Helsinki in a few weeks as well, right?
Yeah, it's third time that they've given me the call, so give me a good trip. Should be good. Get to meet Trample, a
I
bunch of other
know,
people.
that's exciting. So it's his first time, I think, overseas, right?
I think it's definitely his first time to Helsinki. I also think he's not very well traveled.
Yeah. When I've spoken to him, he sounds really, really excited about it. And on his last pod, he was talking about it. So
He's been threatening me with a hug, so I'm gonna have to sort that out. But
well, I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. So we'll experience it virtually through you guys. So we're going to go over the update in a little bit of detail farther down the agenda. But post update, what are you seeing working as far as attacks, and what is currently your favorite attack?
I've been doing the same attack since Druids came out. It's just mass Druids. It's just like open with a fireball, send heroes in, and just every 30 seconds add a couple new Druids. The Druids took a nerf, but I don't think it really changed much. I'm seeing a lot of clanmates have started that one, as well as Super Witches, which is functionally the same attack. It's just you have a couple less Druids and add in a couple Super Witches, and it
Mm-hmm.
works exactly the same. But I'm seeing a lot of that. Dragons are still big, even with over in the Good Guys. Most of our dragon attacks are all tramples, hydro growth, and that still works well, even with the smaller overgrowth spell. And yeah, we have a lot of Root Rider guys who are adjusting, but I think that's still pretty strong too.
Yeah, I have noticed that of course, on the right base, that attack works, but the bases have definitely adjusted to Root Riders.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be a little choosier with it.
Yeah. So, what equipment are you using on your heroes, and which pets?
So King, I am using the Vamp Stash and the Spiky Ball. I'm gonna start playing with Earthquake Boots instead of Vamp Stash, just because I don't know. It seems to be what people are trying lately, and
Mm-hmm.
it's working for them. I'm gonna play with it, and do some FCs tonight, but then I keep the Phoenix on him all the time. My Queen, I've been doing Magic Mirror and Healer Puppet. And I put the Yak on her just to help her get through walls at the end. And because the Druids, you just have feels like unlimited healing. And then especially with the healer puppet later too, using the unicorn feels just excessively redundant. Warden, Fireball, Rage Gem, just to start off with the Warden walk, and I put the Angry Jelly on him. Just,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I've gotten really good at the timing of that, so it's something you have to pay attention to. But you start a Warden walk in a corner, and he's not getting touched. You delay the druids a little bit. If you wait 5 seconds, the druids turn to bears at the same time that the jelly wears off, and it's a nice, like, big, easier to see indicator of when that change is going to happen and when you're going to be able to get the warden back on to following your stuff. So I like the timing of that. And then RC, I'm still using this haste vial, hog puppet, and the fox, obviously.
Nice. Yeah, I know I'm really enjoying the magic mirror on the queen. And mine's only level 20, so.
It's 18 is where you get the second clone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the important one. So
here's a really important question for you: Coke or Pepsi?
I'm having a Coke right now. It's
yes.
the weird new Oreo one. Have you had that?
No, but it's really funny is Darian posted about that on X, and he said it was so vile, and he's a Coke drinker.
Yeah, it's weird. It's I don't like you throw two weird flavors on something together. I'll probably try it. Overall, I think I lean Coke, but I'm not militant about it like some of y'all.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's not Pepsi, then you're okay.
Like Pepsi's made some. Like speaking of vile stuff, Pepsi's made some disgusting. Like they have. Have you had the nitro Pepsi in a can?
No.
Yeah, they do it like there's a little Guinness kind of thing in there. That is disgusting.
It just doesn't sound like it goes together.
No, not at all. Like vanilla Pepsi Nitro is probably the grossest soda I've ever had.
So, how did you find your way to Reddit and become a moderator there? Tell us about that.
Okay, Reddit is. I don't remember how I first found Reddit. It just started getting big, 15-ish years ago, and it was always. It's always a great place to go when you're trying to learn about something new, like a new game or new show, or you pick up a new hobby. It's a discussion forum. It's usually the first place I go to check out something new.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got into, I started playing Clash of Clans, I was like, okay, I'll head to Reddit and see what they have for, guides or tips and I just stuck around, and eventually, I don't know, Reddit can be a terrible place, and I think it always has been. But if you spend enough time, you find something worthwhile to hold your attention, or I have. So I was complaining a lot about the state of the subreddit, and it was like much smaller than it is now and much better in retrospect. But I had gotten into an argument with one of the mods, and they had put out a call like, hey, we're looking for new mods if anyone wants to join. And I just figured I complain enough, I should probably try and help out, or volunteer, see what that side of it is. And that was almost 4 years ago. So it's just, yeah, that's how that happened. I just complained my way into trying to run the place.
And what prompted you and the other hosts of Reddit Talks Clash to start the pod? And what do you enjoy most, and what do you enjoy least about doing it?
Okay, Reddit will try and change things up a lot. They introduced a feature called Reddit Talks, where it was just I think they were trying to compete with what was that app called, where it was just like I think it's dead now, but it was just kind of like a chat room. They had like a moderator, and you could people raise their hands and go up on a stage to Clubhouse. It was Clubhouse.
Oh, okay.
So they introduced this feature of just you make a post and it's audio, and you could do AMAs through it or whatever you wanted to do. And they just kind of dropped that in our lap and said, hey, you've been randomly selected to be one of the subreddits to test this feature. And one of the other mods said, like, we got to do a podcast. And that was maybe a month or two after when I had been making like a yellow pages of podcasts to post on the sub. And that's when I originally reached out to all you guys. It was like a month later, Reddit just handed us a podcast platform. So we just said, let's figure it out, try and just went from there.
Nice.
Oh, and okay, so my favorite thing is going to be, I just like talking about Clash and talking to interesting people about Clash. So it's afforded me the opportunity to reach out and talk to a lot of people I wouldn't otherwise have. And it's always fun getting new perspectives on stuff that you think you very intimately and very, very thoroughly. So that's always fun. The least favorite is, I don't know, like I don't mind the work that goes into it. It's a hobby that I enjoy. I would say, I don't know, like I'm really hard on myself, and there's a lot of episodes I get done with. I'm like, that wasn't that great, or so just trying to deal with the disappointment of when things don't go too well. That's probably what I don't like. I'm just too hard on myself.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's sometimes you just know that, you know what, I nailed that. It sounds great.
Yeah.
It really, really went well.
There are definitely ones I've you hit the end recording button and you just know, like, oh, that was awesome. And then there's the other ones you're like, okay, well, we'll see what happens when in the edit, and hopefully it turns out better. But
exactly.
I don't know, like I have this conversation with Trample all the time too, where he's, he'll ask me how it went, and I'd say, yeah, it was okay, and he's like, no, it'll turn out fine. And I'm sure if I asked you how many bad episodes do you have, your number would be a lot higher than anyone else's too.
Yeah. Well, the thing that you put together for all of us to swap podcasts was a good example, because I worked so hard on that episode for Trample. I must have re-recorded it about 6 times because I wanted it to be perfect.
You definitely drew the short straw on that one.
So
Inside Clash was always going to be the tougher one to do. Like our show is just show up and BS for an hour. Like the Clash Tours has it has its own like format, but it's not hard to insert yourself into that. Like go find a clan, talk about what's interesting in that clan, make some jokes. That was fairly straightforward. And Trample's show is I didn't envy you getting that one. It would have been a fun challenge to do. That's why I suggested it. I just thought it would be fun and interesting.
Well, it definitely made me stretch myself and get outside of my comfort zone for sure. It was a lot of fun. It was a great idea.
Yeah, that's how we grow, is what they tell us.
Exactly. It doesn't kill us, makes us stronger. So you've had some fantastic guests on your show. Is there one that stands out in particular for you?
Well, I feel obligated, and I have to say Trample is always my favorite. But since everyone knows how great Trample is, I'll just hey buddy, just know you're my default number one, and all these questions are number two, okay? But Bash, we've done 2 town hall updates with Bash. We're going to do a third, and those always go really well. I like Bash a lot. He's so fun to talk to, and he and I think look at the game in a very similar way. So those conversations have always been easy and they flow really well. So I'd probably say our Bash ones are one of my favorite ones, and just when it's someone new, I really haven't had a lot of shared experiences with that but that I'm still interested in what their opinions are. We've done RH base building a couple times. Those are always fun. Because I don't talk to pros or get involved with that level as much. So it's been really cool hearing those guys' perspective.
Yeah. Is there a quote unquote dream guest that you have not had on the show yet that you would love to have on?
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask Carbon for a while. I would like to talk to Carbon. There's been 2 times now where we've sat down and you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I think it's about time that we do that we ask Itsu. And like, okay, yeah, I'll probably reach out next week. And then Pines and Thorns drops in Itsu episode. I'm like, okay, we should probably wait. I guess we'll wait and do that later. And then it was, okay, enough time has passed. Should probably reach out again. And then you did it again.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, those are fantastic episodes too. Like some of my favorite ones of yours. I know. So yeah, I don't know. Like we'll get to Itsu at some point, but honestly, like everything I would have asked him, you guys did. So I don't want to just be repetitive.
For sure. And I know there's a lot of support in game from Clash of Clans for the various content creators. Would you like to see them promote some of the podcasts a little bit more in the community tab?
Yeah. I've put 2 of our episodes in the community tab. We did the first time I did it was with our fairy episode, and I did it just a week or 2 ago with our update one with corrupt, and it always feels like I'm doing something wrong too. Because like I don't know, like our podcast has a YouTube channel, and like Supercell's given me access to put videos there. So, but I don't know, it feels like it's not like the intended purpose. So I always feel like I'm getting away with something when I've done it. But GCBC and I have talked to, not in a while, but he had this idea that I still think would be a good one to do like a mashup trailer for all of us, and we can put that in the community inbox in there just to expose more people to, hey, there's a whole world of Clash podcast content out there, and here's all of them. So hopefully one of these will float your boat.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's just which one of us is going to do it. Well, I mean, obviously I'd put it in the game, but like, yeah, just trying to get clips together of wrangle everyone to. It would, one day.
Someday, yeah, for sure. How do you feel about the game in general right now? Supercell had said that Town Hall 15 was made too difficult, so they swung hard in the opposite direction when they gave us Town Hall 16, and perhaps made it a little too easy. And the problem I see is that a lot of people really enjoyed having it easier and being able to triple without really putting a lot of effort into it. And now they've gone and had to adjust a lot of the popular items and troops to try to balance the game. Do you feel that introducing equipment on heroes as low as Town Hall 8 was a mistake? And how can they possibly fix the game at this point?
Ooh, overall, I'm still enjoying the game. But I don't know. Like, I'm not enjoying it. It's pretty. I don't know. I'm just hoping Town Hall 17 is better. Yeah, 15 was too hard. 16 is too easy. Yeah, equipment down low is. I don't know if all the way down to 8 was a great idea. But also, like, with the way they structured ore and the cost and the time that it takes to save up all that ore, like, you got to start early, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe epic equipment that low was a mistake. A lot of the balance changes were aimed at the lower town halls too. Like the spiky ball would wreck half of a town hall 8 by itself. And that's they haven't cared about balance for those town halls in a long time anyway, though.
True. I mean, they've always strongly encouraged people to just move up to the highest town hall as quick as they can. But I think they do a bit of an injustice to the lower town halls because there's a lot to learn down there. And they are, well, they used to be a lot of fun because it's where you learn how to queen charge and use hogs and that sort of thing.
It did always feel like they introduced the game to you at a good clip where you got to progress and learn new skills along the way, and then it's been so watered down where you can get up through Town Hall 11 without actually learning any skills. You can like it used to be in the heyday, like we were talking about, like learning hogs at Town Hall 8 was a milestone of progress with your skill. You could still get away with drags at Town Hall 8, but it wasn't for every base, and it didn't always work, and you had to actually know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But hogs, tripling with hogs at Town Hall 8 was huge, and like Town Hall 8s now, if you're a first-time player, probably not touching hogs. Like, maybe not ever, because there's other strategies throughout the entire game, until you get to super hogs, maybe. And it's disappointing.
Yeah, and I mean, I noticed that a lot of the people moving up through the ranks are using super gobs to farm, because it's fast and easy, and they can get their loot and just do their upgrades, because everybody wants to get to the higher levels, right?
Yeah.
But they're kind of doing themselves a disservice by not taking some time to enjoy, because those lower town halls were a lot of fun, and even 11, 12, 13, 14, there's a lot to learn. So
there's rushing in general, I don't know, has been great for the game. I think if you're a hungry learner, you can rush up to the high town halls and recover just fine. Is this I'm not going to pretend it's complicated, attacking at town hall 16, and you could figure it out when you get there. But I do think the average player is missing out by rushing straight through. And I know T's going to throw a conniption, but
sorry, T.
I don't I do think if it's your first account, if you're rushing through, you're going to be a worse player on average. And unrushing is not fun. I'm unrushing my 14, and it's so boring and terrible having short, cheap upgrades and nothing to do. Rushing's great for second accounts, I'll say. I don't know how I got off on this tangent. Sorry.
It's okay. That was my fault. So let's talk a little bit about everything that happened with the updates. Start with this September Gold Pass. I'll touch briefly on the big controversy. Originally, they didn't give us a hero skin in the Gold Pass this month. They gave us a decoration. It was very nice. It was that animated dice. Really nice decoration, but it's a decoration. And people kind of expect to get something like a skin in the Gold Pass if they're spending the extra money for the gold track. The reason that they gave us, that I read, was that they wanted to give us something that everybody could use no matter what the town hall level. And to give them credit, they asked for feedback on various social media platforms, and within about a day or so, they reversed their decision and gave us the Warden skin, which is fantastic. What do you think?
Oh.
How did they so badly miscalculate?
I was in the military for most of my adult life, right? And this, we were pretty big on shaming people as a form of love, we'll say, for lack of a better term. But I don't all I've thought about is what we would have done if this was like my old squadron. They used to, if you got caught speeding on base, it'd make you display this big embarrassing plaque on your desk, and it was like an old Speedo out of a P-51. But I don't know, just I would buy that guy like a D20 that's just all ones and make him display that, just because it's such a huge whiff. And they knew it was gonna be unpopular, and very unpopular. But there were they thought they were ready for it. They delayed telling creators until very, very late. And they normally only do that when they know it's going to be an unpopular thing. So they told us a little bit before, and pretty much everyone was like, no one's going to like this. You guys know that, right? And then what they had told us were like, well, let's just see. There are people who like decks, and we'll just see what it's like. And normally when they do unpopular things, there's always some people in the creator program who are like, I love this. And it was pretty much everyone who spoke up said it's not going to go well. And just it ended up being like way more overwhelming. And I want to say credit to them for reversing course so quickly, but that's the only surprising thing too, is that they turned it around. And the reasoning of it being more inclusive, to give a cosmetic to everyone who could use it. You can buy the Gold Pass starting at Town Hall 6 or 7. So you can immediately use one kind of skin at Town Hall 7 with the king. And I don't know. And then how long are people spending at Town Hall 7, 8, 9 now anyway? It's weeks.
Oh, exactly.
And 5 years of gold passes having skins, changing that is my biggest problem though with it was like on the Supercell store website, they had said, like it's all over. Like the gold pass contains a skin. They didn't update that in time, and they've pre-sold a lot of gold passes too. So there's a lot of people who banked up to 8 months of gold passes with the expectation that they would contain a skin. And so that was kind of shady to change that and pull the rug out from under those people. But they did at least change it back at least. Oh, what a whiff.
Yeah.
Just a swing, just a swing and a miss there. Or that's that's probably not even the right sports metaphor too, because I think like you say you taking a swing is probably something they thought people would like, but they always knew it was going to be bad. It's like they stepped up the plate intending to take a hit, and it just caught them in the dome instead of the back.
Yeah, it's like a parent saying, "Oh, we're going to have pizza for supper," and then putting a big plate of Brussels sprouts with a side of liver. It's like, it's just no. That's a big no.
I know, like, but when you're making a decision like that too, you're like, we know it's going to be unpopular. Like, what? Okay, the train of thought should stop there. Like, I understand they want to monetize, and it was 100% about wanting to sell a new skin. Like they, like they'll never say that. They'll never say it even to creators. Obviously it's about selling $4 or $10 skins a month instead of 3. Duh. But
yeah. Well, and the thing that kind of puzzles me is, so you have the developers and they put together, and the management there, and they put together all these ideas, but then they have this wonderful place that they can go to vet these ideas called the Content Creator Program to get feedback from people who are intensely connected to the player base. So, they should be listening to everybody there more, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know, there is like a little bit of a conflict of interest there too, because like creators, like they have to get views on these videos, and there's creator code, so they're incentivized to sell. The creator program is mostly just a marketing program, if we're being honest. And then sometimes it gets treated like maybe a little bit of a focus group, but they're not coming to us as consultants. Essentially, it's mostly a one-way information street, and just saying, here's what's new, do with it what you will, and if you guys make money, cool. But I don't know, even when the people who, like if that idea ended up being profitable, like almost all the creators would have, in theory, got more money from it. So even when those people are saying, "Hey, this is dumb," I hope they take that kind of feedback a little more seriously next time.
Yeah, hopefully it's a learning experience for them. So other things happening in September, we have kind of a cool thing, the tabletop RPG theme. We have this neat looking map that they posted, and there's a number of special events through the month, plus a bunch of skins that you can, of course, purchase. How do you like the theme for this month? And will you buy the skins?
I haven't bought skins all year. It's like I have so many, and I almost never change them. I think these are nice ones. The one they chose to add to the gold pass, I think, is the one that people liked the most anyway, with the warden with the little baby drag guy. That's cool. I don't know. I'm pretty over skins and just cosmetics in general.
Yeah, I also have not purchased skins in a number of months. My favorite is the magic skin set, because basically I can see my heroes more easily on the map.
Yeah, if it, like that's how I felt too, is if there is a skin that comes out that helps me differentiate between what heroes what without having to peek at little numbers, then that's gonna be a buy for me. But for the most part, I kind of have the skin set for that I'm used to. But if something comes out where it's like a giant, like give me a giant ugly pink warden, I'm fine with it as long as it stands out against all the chaos in the middle of the base. Like I will buy it and use that.
Yeah. Probably one of the coolest ones was the Golem King. Like
I don't know,
he really stands out.
yeah, Golden King is great, especially with the gauntlet too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't like more. I'm looking for utility out of skins instead of aesthetics.
Exactly. Well, because you really can't see them on the map anyways.
Yeah, and there's so much going
So,
on in attacks now, especially because most
mhm.
everything is more on the spammy side. So being able to pick out there's so many times where I'll pop my king ability and then out of the corner of my eye, somewhere completely different, I'll see that spiky ball bouncing around and realize oh
Oh, he's over there
my
now.
king is not anywhere near where I thought he was.
Yeah, I agree. And we also got this month a legendary scenery. It's $32.99 US dollars, which is a bit of a shock to the
Yeah. Oh,
pocketbook.
I was
It's beautiful. Did you buy it or will you buy it? And what do
no,
you think?
no. I do think it's really cool. You zoom out if sceneries are your thing. Like that it's a cool one. You zoom out. There's a lot going on. There's a really is a lot of work that went into that one. But I'm gonna spend my time zoomed in, not seeing it all, because right
Mhm.
around the base is kind of plain. All the cool stuff is zoomed out, and I don't just I'm never gonna see it. And man, that price
Yeah.
$32. Like I think people were asking what's it gonna cost? What's it gonna cost? And they're like, we haven't made a final decision, and they kept kicking that can down the road too. And the closer it got to release, I'm like, it's gonna be ridiculous. They don't. Yeah, if it was a good price, they'd have told us a long time ago. And they gave an estimate and range, and immediately people were like, that's wild. This is way too expensive. And they tried to justify it with some weird reasons, like it's 6 times the size. And obviously a lot of work went into it, and it was more expensive to produce, and they're not going to do them a lot. They said we still don't know how often. But I don't know. It's not for me. I got sick of that little 3-second transition, just playing with it in the dev build. That got really old real fast.
Yeah, it's overall, like, my thought was, wow, this is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I've seen a lot of the leaks from the Chinese server of their sceneries and stuff, on Twitter
Yeah.
and what have you. And I always thought, oh, those are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
I don't know what they cost over there, but
they cost, if you convert it, it's $17.
wow,
Yeah, so
that's a huge
so
difference.
ours is basically twice as expensive.
Yeah, and in Canada it's even more. So
Oh yeah,
for me to buy this scenery, it's about $50, and I think, I don't think so.
pass.
Yeah, much as I love it.
Yeah, it's hey, it looks cool. Another random thing too that we just had pointed out to us a couple days ago, that if you come across someone with it shows you that little dragon skull fire transition into it.
Right.
That eats into your 30-second scout time 3 seconds.
Does it really?
Yeah. So but you can't if you tap it, it ends the animation and you go right into it. But just in principle, that's a little bit objectively you have an advantage if you have paid for it. People have less time to scout your base in Legends, at least where it matters. So kind of I'm surprised people haven't been crying pay to win about that. But it's 2 or 3 seconds, so it's not a huge deal. But technically, if you want to call it pay to win,
it could make a difference for sure.
Yeah.
So also in the update, which dropped on September 9th, they gave us a revamp to the recruiting system, the clan notice board, and search. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Clan leads can write a custom message, but people can still join your clan even if the clan is set to invite closed. So
yeah, that's weird too. We hadn't been using it, but last night I turned it on just to see what happens, and it feels like all I did was set the clan to open. We're getting a ton of rushed people who technically met our trophy requirements and were Town Hall 16s, and people who join in who didn't speak English, even though that's the clan language, and it's just. I think on RTC I called it a cosmetic change to the recruiting system only, and that's how it feels to me. It's something. They dressed it up, but it's nothing they can do is gonna give you a real good recruiting experience in game, like especially just passive as posting something and hoping the right people join and like it. But I don't think they could do better, honestly, though, either. So it yeah.
Well, some people would just say, give us back global.
Yeah, and at a certain point too, like years ago, global was like the joke of recruiting too. Where you're just finding trolls and asking random people. But I don't know. I see the benefits in having a conversation with someone and trying to get them to join. And I'm sure tons of people out there know friends and have found their clan through global. But it's always been better to recruit like off, out in the wild on Reddit or Discord or somewhere else where you can have a conversation. And I don't think
definitely,
I don't think that's going to change.
No, it's something that people starting a clan might be able to make use of to get a lot of people to join their clan early on, but for established clans, I don't see it being effective at all.
It's been. I mean, I only have less than a day experience of actually using it, and it's been a net negative because we're just getting people joining and leaving constantly. So chat is just totally full of this guy joined and left, or people speaking in whatever language, coming in doing an FC, leaving, and then me kicking a bunch of people who are Town Hall 16s. Who are up in fake legends, so they meet our trophy requirements, but they have level 40 heroes. And what are you doing trying to join a Champs 1 like war clan where the description says, "Hey, we take war seriously," and you have Town Hall 10 heroes on your Town Hall 16. So unless there's gonna be more customization to who you can allow in, I think we're not gonna use it.
Yeah, definitely. I know we are not using it at all, so I'm not sure. Like you say, they're going to have to really tinker with that to make it more useful for established clans.
Yeah, I know, like they tried to do something, and maybe they're going to continue to refine it under the hood. I don't know. I think it's the best we could have hoped for, though. Honestly, so I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be too negative about it, but it's something.
But there's room for improvement.
Definitely.
Okay. They also revamped the loot that you can get. The loot you lose on attacks and defense has increased significantly. Do you think this will encourage people to be more active in game and potentially upgrade to the next town hall?
I don't know if it's going to encourage upgrading. It's been great. I'm only actively farming my town hall 14. I said I'm unrushing, and my storages have been full for the first time in months, just with minimal extra effort, which is great because you can get 2 million loot now bases, which is awesome. You just have to next a while to get a 1 mil, but I was settling for 700,000 gold elixir each, and now it's like I'll settle for 1.5. So it's been huge, at least in my experience as a 14 in high masters, low champs. It's been fantastic. I think I've heard good things from other town halls and other leagues, though. So I'm losing more of of my loot on defense, but it also, I don't know, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. You can gain that back pretty easily.
Yeah, you get it back in more in one hit. Great. Yeah, fantastic system.
Yeah, I like it. So becoming available for the September event, when that ever happens, there are going to be magic snacks available for players to win via event chests. Players can win up to 3 event chests in 48 hours, and snacks expire within 24 hours and cannot be sold like magic items. And there's a bunch of different types. There's Builder Bite, Study Soup, Mighty Morsel, Power Pancakes, Training Treat, and Clan Castle Cake. What do you think of those?
I don't know. Was this needed? Okay, they're cool, they're nice, I guess. When they're available and when you have them, cool. I really like the Clan Castle one is great. I would like the Clan Castle one's cool. Instant training will be kind of nice. But But yeah, they're all. I think to get the full value of them, you need multiple snacks available at once. Like if I wanted to burn through 8 Legends hits at the end of a day and get, like on the last day of the Legend season and get a new personal best, snacks will help that. Where I'm not jamming CC requests, burning all my raid medals to do that. Instant training for 3 armies and unlimited CCs. Those are helpful. They're all like only a portion of what I need. I think, but that's feels like the intent to just be little snack size half bits of full magic items. I don't know. It just feels like they had to give us something new to justify adding loot boxes to the game, which is what they are in essence.
Yeah. And the training one is nice. I did get that in the 5 free chests that they gave us. But the only thing is it doesn't do anything for your heroes. So you have these armies, but
exactly.
your heroes
They're all half of what you need. Like I can fill my CC whenever, but I'm waiting on heroes, or I'm boosting my heroes and you get maxed equipment, which is great. That's the other fun one. Yeah. And we're gonna get once the event starts, if that ever happens. Then you're gonna have you get 3 chests every 2 days is the rate it's gonna be.
Right.
So and you're not guaranteed to get those snacks either. I opened my 5 free chests with that code on like 10 different accounts, and I think I had out of call it 50 items, and I had like 4 of the snacks out of that time, and spread across 10 accounts.
So what was the best thing you got out of one of the free chests?
I had one legendary that was a hammer or something, but it was like on my permanent Town Hall 10, so useless. Just sell it for gems, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that they should tailor the rewards to give something specific to players in Legends? Like you said, getting loot and runes are not very useful to max players.
So
it might be nice to see something different.
I know when they originally pitched loot boxes, I don't think they've ever called it loot boxes. That's like that's what I call them because it's what they are. But they said, hey, like we're thinking of doing randomized rewards inside of chests. How do you guys feel about that? And there's a lot of people very, very opposed to it, and then there's a lot of wrong people who think it's fun and add to the game and are used to it from other stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like when they pitched it originally, they said it would be a way to help like funnel the useful items to people, and it kind of is. So like the way it works with skins, you'll never be given a skin for a hero you don't have, and you'll never get a duplicate skin either too. So there's a pool of skins that are available in those boxes. So if you have, if you draw a skin out of one of them, it'll be a skin you don't have for a hero you haven't locked, which is kind of cool. They don't have that logic to the rest of it. You can still draw ore that you're full on, but ore does overfill. But yeah, right. It's not going to discern whether or not you have, whether you're full on magic items or, like full of books or whatever else. But at least with cosmetics, it's a little smart.
I'd love to see more starry ore coming through there.
Yeah. Like the ore amounts are pretty minuscule too. I got you get like 30 to 50 glowy, which is one day league bonus in Legend, which is okay. It's kind of cool, but they're not life-changing amounts of, anything.
Not going to get you to a max piece of equipment.
I don't know. Like I hate complaining about totally free stuff too. It's nice. It's extra magic items thrown at us on occasion. So, that's cool. But I'm not a fan of introducing loot boxes, and they said they're not planning on monetizing it. And like, normally when they kind of say that kind of thing, I do give them the benefit of the doubt and trust it, but you never know. Like if Channel 17 isn't financially successful and Squad Busters is popping off and people are buying chests, who knows?
That's right. Yeah. It blows over.
Yeah, everything can change.
I was just going to talk a little bit about the supercharged defenses. So starting at Town Hall 16, if your defenses are max, you can buff some of those up a little bit, and some of the collectors as well. It's a small buff from what I see, and it's temporary. So once you go up to 17 or a new building level is released, the supercharge disappears.
Oh.
Do you like this, and do you think they should keep that?
I know. I like that it is buffing defenses overall for Town Hall 16s. I think that's needed. I like that it's not extending time to max for people too, because those supercharges aren't always going to be there. A lot of them should carry over into Town Hall 17, because I know, they're not going to immediately wipe it out, because it won't. As I understand it, and communication's been terrible, so I could be wrong. But as I understand it, the supercharges will carry over through Town Hall 17 as long as those buildings didn't get another level. So if they don't add another level of drills or collectors, you'll still have supercharged collectors in Town Hall 17. So it's not it's not that everything immediately ends as soon as 17 drops, which is cool. But I don't know. I'm still kind of torn on it, because it does feel like a waste to upgrade something temporarily. But also, what else am I going to do with my builders and loot right now? I've been maxed since 4 days after the June update. I got nothing else to do. So it's nice to have something to do, something to farm for and build and progress on.
Yeah.
It's not the most interesting thing, but it does solve a lot of problems. It engages people in the game. It addresses balance a little bit. Something to do. It kind of looks cool. I like it. I'm not excited about it, but I do like it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the mini spotlight that we're currently experiencing. It's available to players Town Hall 10 and higher, and the Sneaky Goblin is boosted for the duration. The event pass costs $2.99 US, and that gives you access to the premium track, with which you can obtain a legendary hero skin if you complete the track. And there's no equipment on this event. What do you think?
That's fine. I wish it had ore in it. Selling a cheaper pass, I'm fine with. And like they told us explicitly, this is aimed at like less active players of lower town halls to get them involved in doing something in probably used to progressing through an event track and completing it, and hopefully that transitions later into buying real event passes. I think people are upset that they can't get one of the decks without spending any money. $2.90 is basically $2.99 for decoration is what it would be in the shop anyway. So I'm not too upset about it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see something that is specifically tailored for lower town halls.
Mm-hmm. What I do like about it though is the free Super Troop, and
yes.
I guess like the best thing though is 50% off training time. Like really, really, I'm cooking whole armies in 10 minutes. It's great. Like
that's spectacular.
Yeah,
I must admit.
That's massive. But it is interesting to be able to use 3 Super Troops when they do this type of event. So I don't know, like. Hopefully they're paying attention to the data and thinking about what to do with Super Troops in the future, now that we've had a couple months of on and off being able to use 3 at a time.
Mm-hmm. So another thing they did for us, they introduced a few changes to hard mode, and I'm not really going to run through all the stats there. That's a trample thing. Looks like they're monitoring what's going on with hard mode and making adjustments. Do you like playing in hard mode, and do you think they should make Legends League hard mode? Why or why not?
I until they do, if and when they put hard mode in other aspects of the game outside of Friendly Wars, I'm not going to care. Because I don't like I said earlier, I'm not a huge competitive guy. If we're getting ready for a tournament, I'll start doing hard mode FCs again. I've done literally 2 hard mode attacks, maybe 4. C2J just did some kind of Town Hall 16 event, and it was Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did 2 wars, so I've done. Those are the only 2 hard mode attacks I've done as a 16, and I don't. It's like it's not for me. It's for the competitive people to make it harder, and it's cool. It works really well for them. I hope the new version does even better. But unless it becomes part of the game somewhere else, I'm just never going to care about it.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah, like if you asked about putting it in Legends too, I think that would be cool. As long as it probably depends on how difficult Town Hall 17 is going to be. If they introduce 17 and 17 is still on the whole roughly the same difficulty as 16, then I would 100% support Legends having hard mode and probably champ CWLs. But yeah, I don't know if 17 is going to be more difficult, then yeah, let's keep hard mode in friendlies only, I think.
So they also gave us a bunch of balance changes to equipment, spells, and troops. The usual selection of nerfs and buffs and stuff like that. The interesting thing is that Siege Machine donation changes. They adjusted donations of Siege Machines to align with the donation caps they did previously for the lower Town Hall levels. So you can no longer receive a Siege Barracks, Log Launcher, Flame Flinger, or Drill at Town Hall 10, for example. And I know our good friend C-Note was not very happy about that because he loves using the Log Launcher. What do you think about that?
He doesn't play anymore anyway, so I don't care what his opinion is.
Or is he?
Like randomly though too, if you see anyone who is claiming that their CC requests aren't working anymore, or they can't even fill their CC with raid medals, what it probably is they're probably a lower Town Hall trying to get a Siege Machine they can't get anymore, so tell them to update their request. That's been like a big.
That makes sense.
That's been reported as a bug for, like a lot lately too. But that's like I'm sure that's what it is if you ever see that come up. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't like it's better for the balance at those town halls too. But it's it's already so crazy out of balance. It's not really going to move the needle.
Yeah, and I think it's probably a good thing because anything they can do to adjust the balance on the lower town halls, I'm all for.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I don't like. I think they only care about retaining players through like up until they get to that hump and over that hump. Like I think Town Hall 12 is the big drop off point lately, at least according to Magic Junior's stats. Last I checked in with him, but he's got to get people maintaining success without a ton of effort, and then hopefully hook them when that difficulty ramps up a lot. Once you get into weaponized town halls and siege machines and stuff, I don't know. Like I do wish it was a more gradual ramp up too, like it used to be. Everything was better in the good old days.
Yeah, we're starting to sound old, aren't we?
I know.
A couple of weird things they did. When you go to swap accounts in Supercell ID, they moved the button.
I hate this.
My muscle memory is making me crazy. Do you know why they did this?
No, it was. What's funny too is there's like one specific dev who everyone loves, and he talks to us, and he's probably the most open. But I know, like, someone in the creator program asked, like, "Hey, what the hell was this about?" And he's like, "That surprised me too." So, like, I don't know. It's the kind of move like that someone does to justify their own job. When they're like, you're like, like we haven't. Someone on the Supercell ID team there was like, I need to show that I've done something. So let's redesign this. Like the UI here too, and if they were going to do anything, like change the button that says open, because you don't even know what you're opening. A lot of people don't know that there's even like an additional layer of settings in there, where they hide account security. Like that could have been fixed instead of moving the button.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing that they did, and this is driving a lot of people crazy, when you select a potion, and it seems minor, but they flipped the sell and use buttons.
Yeah,
so it's really easy to accidentally sell a potion that you meant to use. I'm almost done it a number of times.
I hadn't noticed that one. I've seen people complain about it too, and it's so I always fall into this trap of like where I feel like I'm defending Supercell too much, but it just
right.
But so I don't know, like people will accuse them of doing this on purpose to trick you into, wasting magic items instead of selling them for gems, or or wasting them and having to buy more. But it's honestly, it's probably what's more realistic is, somebody somewhere thought, oh hey, let's make it more consistent with some other part of the game, or
Right.
something stupid and innocent that they didn't really think through the consequences, and no one played in play
Yeah.
testing too, because again, I don't know what their play testing of updates is like. It's if it even exists at this point. But then, like, as far as creators go, and we go, when we're playing in the dev build, like, I don't have any reason to sell potions in the dev build. So that's something that,
No,
like, yeah, there's
exactly.
something like none of us would have ever caught, obviously.
Yeah. And it's these little things, that you use on a daily basis in game, perhaps,
Mhm.
that don't get necessarily checked and tested at the higher levels.
So,
And it's a minor thing, but it's something that it's annoying.
yes.
So, anyways, moving on. We have some questions from the audience for you. You ready?
Oh, so I was thinking drink. Sorry. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Liam asks, if you were in charge at Supercell, what would be your first course of action?
I don't know. Like, this update is a mess, so I just say, hey, stand down new development right now. Like, get this working. We're gonna rethink our release schedule and make sure that, like, the content we are putting out is quality. They gotta just be embarrassed right now, or they should be embarrassed. This is ugly. Like, this is one of the top mobile gaming companies ever, and I don't know. Like, I don't know how you can be proud to have put this update out right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. Another question from Liam. Did you take Liam's advice yet and implement a new capital army?
Yes. So, it's something I like was talking to Sen FGR about something unrelated, and the topic of like bots and the people who sell capital gold came up, and he mentioned, yeah, like they're in the clans, he notices people will join, and like when they're obviously botting, the composition they use is 10 super miners and a frost and 2 graveyards, and they just drop all that, force quit out, and leave it and go. And Liam and I have been doing super miners with 2 frost and like a jump just to open up bases for the second hit. And so we got to discussing, like, hey, if this is good enough for the botters, and maybe it's good enough for us. So we've been playing with it, and yeah, I do. It's not any worse. I don't know that it's significantly better, but yeah, we do miners and frost and graveyard now.
Nice. Storm asks, regarding Helsinki and Clash Worlds, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun is it for you?
Oh, it's tons of fun. Like, I said, like, my favorite part of doing the podcast is meeting people and talking to people, and hearing how they experience the game and stuff. And that's all Worlds is. Like, it's cool watching the actual competition and being there, but the chance to meet people, ask questions, there's 2 nights of like a big dinner party and drinks afterwards over at the Supercell headquarters, where it's just everyone who works there shows up, and you just get to berate them with questions for 6 hours. And it's like every random question I have about the game, like, someone is there just willing to deal with me being annoying. That's been my favorite parts, and 10 to 10 excited to do that again.
That sounds amazing. Another question from Storm. What's the one piece of advice you would give to the younger players you interact with?
Players, you got to find a good clan. You got to find a clan that of people that you like, and that and people that are going to be willing to teach you, and people who are going to get the same type of enjoyment out of the game as you. Like, so if you think you like war, go be in a serious war clan that's going to teach you, how to attack better, and yeah, as long as you're aligning your interests with the people around you, you're going to have a lot more fun in the game.
Ghost Rider asks, looking back on the game and how things have changed over the years you've been playing, do you have a favorite time or state of the game? And has there been an update that has made things significantly better for you?
Like Town Hall 9 back in the day, where like double giant bombs mattered for hogs, and you had to like it wasn't just like 2-stage attacks where you do like the golem hat, your golems and heroes, and then all the hogs that follow on, but like pre-triggering giant bombs, and like all that stuff, and watching your own base defend when you see a pack of hogs cruise over. That was peak Clash for me. What was the second part of that question?
Has there been an update that made things significantly better?
Ooh, there's been a lot of good quality of life stuff too. It's hard to pick one. Adding CWL to the game, I think if I had to pick one thing, that's probably the update that's made the biggest impact in my enjoyment of it over time.
Makes sense. Last question. Fuzzy asks, if you could trade places with trample damage for a day, what would you do as King of Las Vegas?
Ooh, it sounds like he has some cool powers to comp stuff, so I'd probably just set myself up with with some good access to his casinos and go from there.
Awesome. Okay. Top 5 things that we want to see for Town Hall 17. What's your number 5?
Ooh, let me pull up my list. Number 5. I want to see Town Hall 17 have like a clean, coherent aesthetic and theme. You know, like I'm tired of looking at half purple buildings from Town Hall 15 that don't fit anything else. I just want it to all look good once it's maxed and out, and then tagging on a free scenery with that, like they skipped with Town Hall 16, would be nice too.
It's a great one. My number 5 is no new equipment levels.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with that. They can do, like I assume we'll get a blacksmith level, at with at least increased storage for ore, but I don't know if they're gonna go higher levels for existing equipment or just continue adding equipment. But
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. What's your number 4?
I also want, this is an anti-wish, I guess. I want Town Hall 17 to not have a 5th hero.
Oh my god, that's my number 4 as well.
Yeah, it's too much, and it would just be so transparently 100% about selling a 5th skin. I don't think it would be about making the game better.
Yeah, I agree. What's your number 3?
I want new tabs for the chat. Like, it was all the people joining, leaving, all the FCs, all the, like the business matters. I want that broken out cleaner so chat can be chat again.
Yeah, I like that idea. My number 3 is make sure the game is balanced before you release anything.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
Number 2, I want walls to matter again. There's, everything can go over them or under them or now through them, and yet super wall breakers in every army. I just want, like, I don't know how they would do that, whether it's some new mechanic, unbreakable walls, which would probably open up a whole, worm's nest isn't a word. I don't know what I'm looking for. Anyway, I just want walls to matter again in however they do that.
Yeah, I agree. My number 2 is more levels for clan capital, please.
It's time. It really is.
Yeah. What's your number 1?
Number 1, I want my quick train armies to remember what pets and equipment I have and CC requests to tag along with it. There's so much different variety and different attacks now. It's, I don't know, like what I've ended up doing is trying to use like the name of the army just to like remember the CC and pet, but there's not enough character space for it. So I have this weird coding system that I forget half the time. I just want Quick Train to sort that out for me. My
number 1 is just to do away with training time for troops and heroes completely.
Ooh, yeah, that one's tough. Like it's.
Yeah, I know it ties into their monetization.
Yeah,
that's probably never going to happen.
Not just that too, but like the way the loot economy is right now. I don't. They want you to be in game longer, and the snacks are helping that. It's weird. Like if you just had instant training all the time, like, you would end up being in game less, and that's not a good metric for a business, at least. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. Like training time without a gold pass at Town Hall 16 is insane right now. So hopefully that comes down. But yeah, like, I don't know, like getting rid of it entirely would be great. Don't get me wrong, but God, I don't see that happening. But now, significantly shorter. Like right now with the 50% boost, it's so great having a 10-minute army.
Yeah. Well, and you think back to the good old days when it took you 45 minutes to train one golem. So I guess we really shouldn't complain.
Yeah, and then your idiot clanmate like says, "Oh, I logged off and I lost it because you couldn't set your clan castle to sleep."
Can you do another one, please?
Yeah. Yeah, and you have 20 minutes left in war, and 45 to cook a 45-minute golem.
No, those are not the good days.
No. I mean, good old days on some aspects, I guess, but not
for sure.
There's definitely been a lot of quality of life stuff that you couldn't go back to.
All right, it's time for some shout outs. Do you have any shout outs, Rick?
I do. I'll rattle them off because I talked too much. Obviously, you're finding out. Liam, we did it, dude. Hey, he'll get that. Darth Yoda and the guys at SOG have been cool. They've reached out to include me in a couple of their stuff, the Legends pushes we've done, and doing a 1v1 kind of tournament with them right now. That's always fun. So thanks for including me, Darth. Trample, as always, man. You're a great friend. You're way better at like shouting out other podcasts than I am. So he always name drops us all on Inside Clash at some point. So thank you for that. And then finally, Forced is another Reddit mod. He's fighting the good fight in the creator program. He's opinionated and he's sharing it, and I think good things will come from it. If he's still there, which I think a lot of those concerns are really overblown, but I don't know, like he's out there proving that Supercell can take criticism. That's for sure.
Awesome. All right, my shout outs first. Thank you very much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. And shout out to Fuzzy and Drac over in the Rated and the rest of the co-leaders there. Fuzzy's really taken the reins there and doing a lot of fun stuff over in the Rated, and Drac is doing a great job. He's been all over helping Fuzzy with the wars and management of the clan. So shout out to all of them over there. And that's it from us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is blessed.
Awesome. The CFF is a family of clans who love to play various games such as Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and others. You can send questions or comments to us on Twitter at RedthornCOC. To get more information on our clans, events, and podcasts, join the CFF Discord at discord.gg/clashfiles.
Dear Clash Gods, I confess my emotions have been a mess. 'Cause you changed everything we ever knew. From witches to poison and the Queen Walk too.